My name is Chris Ellis, and I'm an income maintenance caseworker at the Berks County Assistance Office in Reading, Pennsylvania. And I'm a proud member of Pennsylvania Social Services Union 668. Since I have union protection at my job, I earn a fair salary, and I have good health insurance for myself and my daughter. I feel lucky to be part of a union. But it shouldn't be a matter of luck. Everyone, no matter where they work or what industry they work in, should be able to join a union. I live and work in Reading, Pennsylvania. That's right. It's a diverse city full of hard-working families, but a lot of poverty. Back in 2011, it was named the most impoverished city in the country, with an official poverty rate of 40%. That ain't right. But thank you. Thank you. Rust Belt cities like Reading. Oh, and the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Nobody can survive on that. Rust Belt cities like Reading can see a rebirth of good family-sustaining jobs if elected officials ensure that everyone who wants to join a union can join a union. In Pennsylvania, we hear a lot about good manufacturing jobs that help build the middle class. The thing to remember about these good jobs is they were good jobs because they were union jobs. And people fought for these unions in these industries. People like my grandfather, who helped organize iron workers at a Bethlehem steel mine. Vice President Joe Biden is a fellow Pennsylvanian, and he has spoken about the issues of working people throughout his entire life. During his time as vice president during the Obama administration, they ensured federal contractors, they held federal contractors accountable, ensured that people who worked overtime were paid properly, and, most importantly, passed the Affordable Care Act. Please join me in welcoming Vice President Joe Biden.
What do I do now? Right here? Again, right backstage. Whoa!
Thank you for being here, Mr. Vice President. We're just going to get right into it. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We have a question from Taganesh over here.
Hi, Vice President Biden. My name is Agana Shungadashat. I immigrated from Ethiopia with my family 6 months ago. I currently work 2 jobs in Denver Airport. I'm a member of SIU Local 105. I came to United States for better opportunity for me and my family. I tried to get a better job, higher wage, and health insurance. However, my 2 jobs is not enough. That's why we gather people like me to get a union. So, we haven't seen your plan yet. How would you, as a president, support millions of us to get a union?
Well, look, folks, I have been supportive of and been supported by SEIU for over 40 years. Every single... Doesn't mean I'm entitled to be the guy to be nominated, but I tell you what, I'm one of those persons who never forgot how to say the word union, period. I announced I was running for president for 3 reasons. The first reason was to restore the soul of this country, bring back some decency and honor to the White House, and not divide America. But the second reason was to rebuild the middle class. And let's get something straight. Wall Street did not build America. Middle class built America, and unions built the middle class. Period. And I know I've gotten in trouble for saying this over the last 15 years, but business and corporate America has declared war on labor's house. They've been after labor constantly because you're the only one keeping the barbarians on the other side of the gate. And you've been getting clobbered. And it's time that everybody, not just in private unions, but public service unions, be protected by the NLRB, be part of the entire deal, be in the game completely. And folks, I promise you, if I end up being your president, you will never have had a more union-friendly president in America. But it's a simple proposition. When workers do well, everybody does well. No, I mean it. Because unlike giving a gigantic tax break to capital gains from multimillionaires, they don't spend it. You spend every dime you make. You spend it just to be able to live. And everyone in this room should have a minimum starting at $15 an hour wage across the board. Not a joke. I mean it. When we were in office, we raised it to $10.10. I will raise it to $15. And folks, look, here's the deal. Think about this. Think about this. Everybody's beginning to figure that out. I was up working with a union that was taking on Stop and Shop that made billions of dollars. And I looked out in the parking lot in Boston, and there were 700 to 1,000 people, they said. Over 60% of them weren't union members. You know who they were? They were average workers who had been convinced over the last 25 years that you're the problem. All of a sudden, they're figuring out you're their only hope. You're the only reason why they have a 40-hour week. You're the only reason why they get paid overtime. You're the only reason why they have any rights. So, folks, we have a gigantic opportunity this time to have the support of all workers, because then a war on all of them. And that's why I think not only your enthusiasm and the leadership of Mary Kay and your whole union, the entire union movement of the country is standing up. We're not taking anymore. We're not bending or bound anymore. We're going to take this country back, and unions were the ones that do it. And by the way, thanks for choosing America. Not a joke. This is the reason why we're the country we are. We pick the best from every continent in the world. People come because they have hopes, they have aspirations, they're resilient, and they work hard. You're the reason why, and so many more, like even back 150 years ago, my great-great-great-parents came. They jumped on coffin ships, not sure they're going to make it, and they came here, and they have the backbone and the stamina to build America. Thank you. I mean it.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. We have another question here.
This looks like a tough one.
Good afternoon, Vice President Biden. My name is Rhonda Miller. I have been, for the last 9 years, been a public bus driver for Palm Beach County School District. I'm also a member of the Florida Public Service Union. I am a mother of 2 and a grandmother of 5. As a black woman growing up in Florida, I witnessed the sad racism that defined our state. From slavery to Jim Crow to the Stand Your Ground law, people that looked like me were told publicly and privately that we weren't valued. As a child, simply walking to the beach, going to a football game, I encountered racism. One instance, me and my friends walking home from a football game were chased by white men in a pickup. We were threatened and called terrible names. My grandparents and my parents understood this as a norm, but that day, everything for me changed. In spite of the Trayvon Martin murder, the double standard of the Marissa Alexander case, and the many untold stories that allowed us to know that Black lives don't matter. Me, as a union member, I'm committed to being more inclusive in life with everyone. Because no matter what my gender is, what my job is, what my race is, everyone deserves a good quality of life. So, Vice President Biden, we know that racism is intertwined in America's in its economy. For any president to begin to resolve this cancer, they must first understand how the two are connected. Now, you've heard what I think. Now I want to understand how you think and how you understand that racism and the economy are connected. Not only do I want to hear that, I also need to hear, and all of us would like to hear, 3 plans that you have to remedy this problem.
Let me ask a question. Anybody from Delaware here? Well, let me tell you something. What you don't know about Delaware is we have the 8th largest black population in America. The 8th largest black population in America. Almost 20%. I come out of the civil rights movement. I worked on the East Side. I drove a school bus in the summer to help get my way through school. I, in fact, understand, and I worked on the East Side and what they call the bucket, because I want to understand more what was happening. The fact of the matter is that when I got back from law school, my city was the only city in America after Dr. King was assassinated, occupied by the military since the Civil War. 10 months with drawn bayonets. I left the law firm I was with and became a public defender to defend the very people that I grew up with in those neighborhoods. But here's the deal. Folks, there are 3 things. My time's running out here. That's by way of background, because none of you know that about me. That's a fact. Check it out. But here's the other piece. There's institutional racism across the board. Housing, employment. If you live in a neighborhood on one side of the street with a home just as nice as the home on the other side of the street that's white, your home is valued less than the home that is on the other, same exact home. You get charged more for insurance for your vehicle, even though you've never had any problems, than someone in a white neighborhood if you're there. It goes on down the line. 3 things. Starts off, we got to make sure that we provide opportunities for people, no matter what their zip code or where they're from, to get a good education. That's why I tripled Title I money, so that we go from $15 to $45 billion. Put every single solitary child, 3, 4, and 5 years old, into school, not daycare, because the studies show that it increases their prospects of success exponentially by over 50%. Making sure that we invest $3 billion in the state initiatives to provide for loans for black entrepreneurs and women. So last time we did that, Barack and I, it was $1.5 billion, and it brought $9 billion off the sidelines to give people an opportunity. The most active communities in the world are black entrepreneurs. Number 3, what we should be doing here is we should be increasingly enforcing with rigor all of the legislation that relates to employment discrimination. It's rampant. And it's also, I might add, for women as well. That's why we have to change the PRO Act. We have to the way we organize, who can make a complaint, how you cannot, in fact, receive a reprimand or be in any way punished by your employer for raising issues of discrimination and or unequal pay. I only have 3 minutes, but I could do a lot more. But it is my passion. It's been my passion. Look at my record. That's who I am. That's what I've done. And you're exactly right. And I want to make sure that my grandchildren and your grandchildren never have to go through what you went through as a kid. I guarantee you.
We have a question over at
Looks
Mike
like
1.
a long ball out there.
Greetings. My name is Vivian Deniston. I live in Eureka, California, up near the Oregon border. I am almost 65 years old. I am a wife, a mother of 2, and a grandparent of 3. I am also a proud leader in my union, Local 2015. A lot of proud people. So I am an in-home support worker for my adult daughter, Sarah. She's 36. I've cared for her for 18 years. She was born with a mental disability and developmentally disabled, autism, and she developed bipolar. When she was 13, they found a tumor in her left lower leg. It was an osteogenic sarcoma. So they tried to save her leg, but to save her life, they amputated right below the knee. So she endured 14 days a month for 8 months of chemotherapy. And she is tough. She has survived. So my union has changed my life as a home care worker. Never did I think I would be paid overtime, sick pay, travel time, and wait time. And that's just a few of our victories. So at our office in Eureka, we painted a wall purple and put all of our union victories up there because I wanted everybody that came in that office to know that was absolutely purple union power. So, working families, seniors, and the disabled, we have an enormous problem with long-term care. Obviously, this is super important to me because someday a stranger is going to take care of my child. So I want this program, this long-term care, to be the best it can be. And we have our other sisters and brothers that aren't in unions, that are working at poverty wages, have no benefits, and they don't have access to training. So we need to know what you can do for long-term care so that the people who receive the care, like my precious child, and the people that do that care receive a wage and the respect they need to continue working, support their families, and want to do this work.
I don't know how I answer a 5-minute question in 3 minutes, but I'll try it. Unfortunately, I understand you. I got elected to the United States Senate. I was 29 before I was sworn in. I got a phone call saying my wife and daughter had just been killed in a tractor-trailer accident. My two boys were dead on top of their sister and their mom. The tractor-trailer hit them. They were hospitalized for a long time. Anyway, I'm sorry. Well, no, let me finish. I was lucky. I had an incredible family to help me pitch in. I know what it's like being a single parent, believe it or not, even though I was a senator at the time making a lot of money, $42,000 a year I made. And folks, I was listed my entire career as the poorest man in the United States Senate. No, I'm not joking. It's just because I got elected when I was 29, come from a very modest background. And I couldn't figure out how to get help if I didn't have my parents and my sister, my best friend Valerie, moved in to help me raise my kids. Then my son Bo was Attorney General of the state of Delaware. He volunteered. He joined the National Guard at age 32 because he thought he had an obligation to go. He spent a year in Iraq. He came back decorated. Conspicuous Service Medal, honors, Bronze Star, and War Zone, etc. And because of his exposure to burn pits, in my view, I can't prove it yet, he came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. "18 months he lived, knowing that he was going to die. Nobody makes it. I can't imagine what I would have done were it not for the hospice workers. Matter of fact, in Delaware, they named the hospice facility the hospital after my mom, who needed hospice too. But my point is this. I don't know how I would have reacted if someone had told me when he was in his last months, came along and said, well, you've run out of your coverage. Die in pain, but peace. We cannot cover you any longer. My dad used to have an expression. He'd say, Joe, your job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about your place in the community. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay. Too many people can't do that anymore. When my dad lost work in Scranton and we moved out and made that longest walk that any parent has to make up a short flight of stairs and say, honey, you can't go back to St. Paul's school. You can't play in that Little League team. Daddy doesn't have a job. I'm going to send you home with Grandpa. Well, I'll commute. I'm going down to Wilmington, where I used to live in. I'm going to get a job. And I'll be okay. You'll be okay. So many parents have made that longest walk, but they can't look their kids in the eye anymore and say, it's going to be okay. That's what this is all about. This is all about dignity. How can a parent maintain their dignity when they look at a child who has a pre-existing condition, or God forbid, is in the situation your daughter is in? You lay awake at night, don't you, all the time? What? Sorry. No. The president shouldn't react that way. But here's the deal. I make you a commitment. I make all of you a commitment. I will protect your right to health care as if we're my own family, because I understand. And in our administration, we provided also to be able to provide for all those people, 900,000. I carry a card with me every single day. It's my schedule. In the back of the schedule, it has a little black box. What's in that black box? Tell them. Well, I'll tell you. It says Daily U.S. Troop Update. It lists the exact number of troops killed in Afghanistan and Iraq. 6,898, not 6,800 or so. 6,898 fallen angels. You have wounded in those two places, 52,933. But here's what it doesn't say. It doesn't say 300,000 of these warriors are coming home with post-traumatic stress, badly need. The suicide rate is so high. And what are we doing? What are we doing? We are not focusing, and we need another 78,000 psychiatric nurses. It should be free. We should train them for free. We should make sure that people get to school. And we should pay. One of the things we did was we pay people now to stay home to take care of their own. Pay them. Whether they're union or not, they should be paid. But everybody should have the protections you're talking about. And I commit to you, from the bottom of my heart, if I'm president, this will be one of the most significant priorities I have. Everyone deserves the opportunity as a parent to be treated with dignity and be able to take care of their kids. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. We're really glad that you came with us. We really appreciate your sincerity, and good luck on the campaign trail.
Well, thank you. And by the way, you know, if there are any angels in heaven, they're all male and female nurses. And they're not getting paid enough. They're not getting treated enough. And all those home care workers, they should be trained how to increase their capacity to serve everything. I mean, we can do this. So anyway, I'm getting out of here. Thanks.